How many years did you do total?
I did the drug program, and they knocked about 8 months off it. The feds have no programs.
I mean, all together in your life.
Oh, 10
years.
Yeah, 10 maybe.
Okay, and you're how old right now?
I'm 43.
You're 43.
Yeah, thanks,
so a
Vlad.
quarter.
You just ruined my age. Everybody knows my real age.
You're still 20, my bad. The entertainment age.
I think.
So nearly a quarter of your life was spent in a dirty cage surrounded by men.
Boxes.
Eating shitty food, with essentially the worst of society around you. When you look at everything you've gained over the years, and you mentioned the women, the money, the jewels, the trips, everything else like that.
The women was out the money. I was able to do that without the money and out the fame.
But you had all the perks of being a criminal, but you spent a quarter of your life in prison.
And gambled away all my money.
Gambled away your money on top of that. Do you feel like it's worth it, or do you feel like you made a big mistake early on?
Now it's worth it because I'm helping people. So I had to go through all of that to get where I am today. I don't believe in the life. I don't believe in the street life anymore. I believe that people like me were left here to mentor and help people that are in the life. I don't try to preach to people about not getting into the life because everybody has to fall, take the training wheels off and fall once or twice before they listen. And I'm not ready for that. I try to talk to people that were like me and tell them, add it up. I do the numbers, figure out how much you made, and then figure the jail time. It comes out in less than minimum wage. You could have went to work at McDonald's. And people, the way I tell it and people understand it. I mean, I have a guy here today with me. I wish we could introduce him. He's come such a long way. Bill Stacks. He was a gang member. He was going nowhere, recovering addict. And he turned his whole life around when he reached out to me. And he's like, I'm really proud of him. He's doing the right thing. And I take him everywhere with me. And anything I do on the Hootie platform, which there's a few people on it that I'm looking to help. And listen, I'm nobody to be preaching, but if I could take what I've gotten from what you just said and use it to help others to get out, then it was worth it. One person gets the message, what you're saying, yeah, it was worth sitting in them holes, eating that shitty food, being abused by guys that I wouldn't walk past and spit on if they were on fire. Absolutely. It was worth it.
And you said you gambled away all your money?
Yeah, I was a pretty bad sports gambler, and I was terrible at it. I actually thought it was an addiction. I thought I was addicted to it.
Okay.
But I don't have an addictive personality. I don't like alcohol that much.
What's the term
drugs
that they use, a degenerate gambler?
No. Degenerate will sell his clock on his wall or bend up. Oh, listen, I was upside down with so many bookmakers. I beat so many bookmakers. I wouldn't use the word degenerate. I was definitely, I thought I was addicted, but it was part of the life. 20,000 on a game. It was the action. So when I put my last bet in when I couldn't pay anymore, I stopped.
Yeah.
And I realized I wasn't addicted. It was a lifestyle. And I guess that's what people do with drugs. I don't know. Yeah. I was never addicted to drugs, so I don't know how that worked. But I wound up finding out I wasn't addicted to gambling. If I would have just stopped maybe a couple million before, I would have been all right.
So you lost millions in gambling?
About 3 million in my lifetime.
3 million in
That's
gambling?
I used to keep notes.
Wow.
I was a big note keeper.
3 million.
And I had it about 3 million when I stopped betting sports. And I had no clue. And it was all about a professional athlete was gambling with us in our main office. And he tried to bet on his own game. They were out of the playoffs. They couldn't make it. And we chased him after that. He was a pretty good gambler. We didn't mind having him. He lost, he won, he lost. And I said, could you imagine this? I've been betting my whole life. And these guys are calling up to bet. And they're playing in the game. I says, this could have been going on in any game I've ever bet. And I've lost all this money. And I put my last bet in and never gambled again.
So you're saying the actual players were betting on their own or against their own teams?
Yeah. Well, one player was betting against his own team.
Who was this?
I can't say that.
What team?
There's the Jets.
The New York Jets?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be in my book.
Okay. So he was betting against his own team?
Against. And he actually short-armed the pass. We called it alligator arms. And they didn't cover the spread.
Uh-huh.
And even though he was we chased his whole sheet. He had a sheet. He was on a guy's sheet. We chased the whole sheet.
Crazy. And
just seeing that. And then there was other plays that gambled that he was just the only one that gambled on his team.
Hmm.
They were totally out of the playoffs one year, just not even close. So I guess he was looking to make a few dollars.
Well, Anthony Hootie Russo, appreciate you coming in and telling the story. And I think it really kind of illustrates how, especially with the Italian mafia, it's so romanticized in the movies because you have such great films about the mafia.
It's all similar. None of it's real.
Right. You said Bronx Tale was the only one.
The close one because that's Sonny was like
classics.
Ronnie One-Arm in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
He protected the neighbor, watched the neighbor. We considered him a boss, and he was just a main guy.
But regardless of how factual these films are, they're all-time classics.
Yeah.
They're Oscar winners. When you ask most men their favorite all-time films, Goodfellas or Casino would probably be in that list.
Well, Godfather's
Or
always
the
number
Godfathers.
one, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But
Scorsese really took a very underground, secretive organization and really made everyone want to be part of that life just because of how the guys are portrayed. The De Niro's, the Joe Pesci, the little guy that was crazy and would do anything.
It's all Italians in short, right? That's what they say.
So I think hearing the actual stories by people like yourself or the Michael Franzises or the John A-Lights or whatever, that show there is some of that in that life, but here's what you lose in the process.
And that's my message.
The prison time, the families being torn apart, the drug addiction, the gambling addiction, the killing, the beating up, of various people along the way.
Let's not forget the biggest one. As soon as you go to jail and they find out you get enough time to try to fuck your wife, your girlfriend, steal your money.
That too.
Your best friends are ringing your bell. You need anything? And there used to be a rule for that. When guys were dropping off envelopes to people's wives or family, they used to have to go in twos. And when you see a guy showing up with one,
you know what that is.
It's a fucking sneak.
Did that happen to you?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So
the best man at my first wedding.
He started sleeping with your wife.
He tried to.
He tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. The reality of the life.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what I'm here for. I want to tell people, because I was on the inside. I've sat with bosses. I broke bread with bosses. I was at sit-downs. And I'm here to tell you, get out now. Or whatever you're doing. Because I came from the crack life. I seen the gangs. I was in jail. I did it. I seen it. All ends of the street. And I'm trying to pull these guys out as fast as I can. And I'm not talking, listen, there's good people in everything, but there's more bad. And just because I don't hear it spoken about a lot, when people say the life is watered down now and ain't what it used to be, the life has always been watered down. The life has never been what it used to be. When the mafia stood in Sicily and the Cosa Nostra came to America, because there's no such thing as an Italian mafia, because mafia is mafia, and it means my daughter in a Sicilian dialect. That's not Italian. It should never be called that. It was watered down when they got here.
Yeah. I mean, Larry Mazza, when I interviewed him recently, and we talked about him cooperating, he said, I was the biggest rat ever to my family when I joined the mafia.
You know when I was the worst rat ever? When I joined this life. What I did to my family and the parish I grew up in, the kids I coached, the kids I taught karate to. I'm a bigger rat to them.
That's right. I actually had a conversation with him yesterday about that.
Yeah.
I was talking to him. I was talking to a few of them before I came on here, and he actually told me that. He actually said that without, saying that he said it on here.
Yeah, yeah.
I never seen his interview.
That was part of our interview.
Yeah, he's right.
Well, Hootie, appreciate you telling your story, man, and I hope that this will change someone's direction, whether they go, if they decide to go into any level of crime. Because we interview so many criminals, so many kingpins, everything else like that. And not a single person says, it was the greatest thing ever. I'm glad I did it. I walked away with millions. I'm rich now.
I think if I was rich, I'd be guilty.
It.
I'd feel guilty, Vlad, if I was rich.
Yeah. There you go. Hootie, all the best. Until next time.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
Stay up.